music. It's time for Weather or Not. I'm meteorologist Scott Mundt from the Digital Desk. Coming up on today's show, we have take a look at some of these coldest lows that we've experienced so far this season, because we are behind schedule. And for some of us, we'll see how close we can get to setting a record before hitting 32 degrees, how late in the year we can go before hitting 32. So I have a list of some of those cities coming up. Also, we're about halfway through the month, so we're looking at some of these monthly precipitation totals. Fog theory, that's a hot topic as we get into the colder months of the year, and also look at that snow trend as we get into the next several weeks. In the meantime, today, we've had fog and dense fog, western, central. Dense fog advisories also in the parts of western, southwestern Minnesota this morning. Depending on the cloud cover today, it really plays a role in how warm we'll get later this afternoon, as well as seeing a southerly wind. I'm in favor of kind of delaying things, keeping these clouds around, keeping this easterly wind around. Don't be surprised for a couple of scattered showers from time to time. I don't think it'll add up to too much for eastern or southeastern KELOLAND. A better chance to maybe see some steadier rain or even some thunderstorms in western South Dakota, where they may receive at least a half-inch of rainfall. Some spots may even approach an inch, depending on where these thunderstorms develop. Again, that's found across western South Dakota. As you see on Futurecast for the overnight, that's where low pressure will be. Warm front to our north, that will happen tonight. So that will move south to north. Behind it, we'll have stronger southerly winds. It will be one of those overnights where we have slowly warming temperatures through the overnight in eastern and southeastern KELOLAND. So expect warmer temperatures probably by tomorrow morning as compared to what we had even during the day today, even though we may sneak some of us into the 60s and even 70s. If we have sunshine today, Yankton, Vermilion, they may see temperatures warm to the 70s. And then with that trailing front, cold front for tomorrow, that will be a focal point for a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms that we will have to watch as we do go through the day. Here's our forecast today. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s. I think those are late day highs, eastern, southeastern KELOLAND. And then for tonight, warming temperatures with that stronger south to southeast wind. We'll have temperatures, so probably early, middle, maybe upper 50s, then slowly warming after that. Middle 40s across western South Dakota. Stay with us. We'll talk about the coldest lows so far this season. Coming up, you're watching the latest edition of Weather or Not. Welcome back to Weather or Not, joined by Brian Karstens. Brian, thank you for filling in yesterday. Had time off yesterday and made a trip out to Mitchell to visit Mitchell Tech.
Nice.
For the kiddo.
Yeah.
Starting that next year.
Where does time go? I'm just,
Days are long, but the years are
short. They are. Yep. Well, yeah, adventures there to Mitchell for you. You were talking earlier, too. You were running into some rain on Interstate 90, right?
Slowed us down a little bit. And I noticed on the way back, dare I say, there was some standing water. I noticed the standing water in the fields.
Yeah, a little more moisture. And, around where we're at, we're happy to have a few puddles on the gravel road. Got a little muddy, just a little bit. So that's good. We needed some moisture. Now we'll get to see what happens next with a couple more thunderstorm chances and showers scattered in the outlook, and a few things we'll need to iron out there, Scott.
Yeah, let's start with our coldest lows so far this season, Brian. I did some research this morning, and here's what I came up with. The coldest low temperatures we've had so far this fall. 34 degrees in Sioux Falls. Only fell to 37 in Mitchell. Yankton, 37, the coldest lows that I can find. 30 in Aberdeen, 32 in Pierre, and 27 in Rapid City. Now, for those cities that have not hit 32, here's the latest we've gone in the season before hitting 32 degrees. 1 year pops up for a lot of those that haven't hit their 32 yet. 1963. Anything stand out in your mind? 1963, 64?
Weather records.
Nothing for me.
Nothing. I can't think of anything on that particular winter scenario there.
That 98, that stands out for me. That I moved here January of 98, and I believe that was the year of the Veterans Day snowstorm in Sioux Falls.
That's right. Yeah, there was a big blizzard in 98.
Yeah,
And,
thunder snow.
Yes.
Driving into work that morning and lightning and thunder as it was snowing. I remember that.
So, yeah, it was a warm fall, and then obviously Yankton stands out there of 1998. But, yeah, you're right. Isn't that interesting? 1963 seems to be kind of the go-to year. A lot of the cities are in that particular year.
Right. So we'll see how long we go without seeing temperatures for those cities at 32 or below. But we really don't have those types of numbers in the forecast yet when you look at the 7-day.
Right. It's not even, it's going to cool down a little bit, but it's going to be really cold. Well, not necessarily. So keep watching that, and thank you for the information. That's good reference, isn't it, for us?
And you know what, Brian? Of course, I have that snowfall prediction coming up for the KELOLAND Live Doppler Winter Special.
Yes.
I quickly cross-referenced 1963-64 with what they had for that winter for snowfall. Sioux Falls, 24.9. It's about 20 inches below average.
That's an easy winner.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not done. Aberdeen, 17.8.
Ooh.
Here, 16.3. Rapid City, 26. Lead Deadwood, average 154.7. I think their average is around 150.
Oh, so they did have a little more.
Yeah, in the hills, which is good.
Well, here's one thing just to think about. So we're mentioning 1963. Now, if memory serves correctly, rewind a year before that to 1962. Do you remember in the weather records for Sioux Falls?
You talk
February. Yep, it's about the 22nd. I don't know, somewhere in the 23rd, somewhere in that range.
Well, I'll just look on the other machine here.
That is the all-time.
Are you talking about the coldest?
No, record snow. It's
snow.
I think that's the heaviest 24-hour snow total.
Okay.
In Sioux Falls. I want to say it was close to...
I figured something would stand out to you.
Was it 28 inches or 30? It was some ridiculously high number.
So you want February of 62?
Yeah, go to February of 62. Okay. I like putting you on the spot here just to see if you can find that. But what a contrast, isn't it, from what the one that winter and then just in 63, 64, a lot different.
February
okay, here 62. We go. Am I right? Oh, yeah, look at that. 18 and 13.8. See that right up there? Yep, there you go.
Right there, yep.
So it goes from 0 to 30?
Oh, yeah,
snow
zero
depth?
This is snow on the ground at 0 on the 16th.
Yeah.
And then give it 2 days, and we jump to 30. And what I highlighted earlier was that 31 below on the last of the month.
Wow. I had, years ago, Scott, there was a gentleman that used to call quite often into the Storm Center, and I remember he used to talk about that storm in 1962.
Okay.
Yep. And he mentioned listening to the radio the day of or the day before that storm came in, and he would mention how the forecast was for flurries. And he kept saying, well, I kept shoveling flurries and kept shoveling more flurries and more flurries.
Change that definition of flurries.
Yeah.
But a flurry warning out.
Their family lived near Tyndall, South Dakota at that time, and he had a lot of interesting reflections on that. So that was one of the memories I had when I first started here, getting feedback on storms like that. But 1962. A little less technology back then to forecast the weather, Scott.
But 1962 did not show up on those years that I just showed you. You're just bringing in...
I'm just bringing up stuff for fun. No, but maybe...
We have to clarify, though.
Maybe here's a word we'll say is, I don't know, if I haven't looked at 62, I don't know what the specifics were, but sometimes in weather forecasting, you'll use what we call anti-logs. So there are years that are analogs, but anti-logs are the opposite. And those years, you look for, well, okay, can I find a year that was the exact opposite in every way, shape, or form? And then you use that as another way to kind of counterbalance some of your inputs. So I leave that up to you. I know you've got your own art that you kind of use for this, but yeah, interesting numbers. I like that.
Speaking of numbers, let's talk about where we're at so far this month. We already talked about the rain from yesterday. A couple of scattered showers maybe today. Thunderstorms later today, western, northwestern, South Dakota. Here's where we are through the 14th, so through yesterday. A little bit over a half inch. Nice to get that rainfall. But again, we've had the fourth driest September in Sioux Falls, that we can definitely use more rain. I know you said probably just settled the dust by your place. I think I was around maybe a third of an inch of rainfall at the house for a total yesterday. Officially just shy of 0.4 of an inch in Sioux Falls. So, again, nice to see that rain. You do see those numbers are fairly light. Huron for the month, around a quarter, just over a tenth in Mitchell, 2/3 of an inch in Pierre, and about 2/3 of an inch in Rapid City. But they will add to that as we get into the late afternoon and into the evening and maybe even overnight for western South Dakota. So we're looking at the departure here from our monthly precipitation. Well below let's see here, half inch Aberdeen, 3/4 of an inch in Sioux Falls, close to 9/10 of an inch below in Mitchell. Rapid City, western South Dakota, doing better. Phillips close to average. We'll say close to average Rapid City, Pine Ridge, and even over, about a half inch over in Buffalo, northwestern South Dakota. And there'll be an area that probably will receive more showers and thunderstorms, as we mentioned later today.
Right. They could easily go, tonight with thunderstorms in the forecast, an inch of rain is quite possible in the forecast. So, we'll continue to watch that and see where the data goes. But the odds are that's the most active region in South Dakota.
All right. Coming up, we'll go to break, but get yourself ready for more fog theory.
More in fog theory class.
And another extended forecast, too.
Okay.
Things are starting to line up. We'll see where it actually takes us. Stay with us. You're watching Whether or Not. Down.
Got my attention, Scott.
Foghorn?
Fog.
How about that? Why not?
Did you ever hear a foghorn like that when you were in Chicago on Lake Michigan?
No.
Probably not.
Too far from Lake Michigan to worry about that.
I don't think we have any such thing in South Dakota, probably. But, it's fun to hear that. Think of that phone. Gets our attention.
Hey, that's okay. So let's go ahead and jump right into this one. And I think it's this and the snow trend we'll try to end with.
Okay.
So we had fog today. That will point to precip. If you believe in the 90-day fog theory, that will point to the precip January 13th.
Okay.
Middle of winter. Heart of winter, we'll say. Unless we have a January thaw.
Oh, right. Yeah. Then it could be just...
could be rain.
Kind of a rainy day. Yep. Possible.
We've seen that. All right. Now, I know we talked about this on Monday. I want to talk about this again today. We have a couple of things that we're looking at. So we had thick fog July 30th, so that will point to the end of the month being October 28th. We'll worry about those other dates when we get closer, but I do want to concentrate on October 28th because that also lines up with this cutoff low in the higher layers of the atmosphere. We're looking at the 500 millibar heights, and you can see where we have that low pressure system right on the border, Canada, North Dakota, and then it moves a little farther to the south, September 18th. We're on this 40 to 45 day cycle of seeing these closed lows move through. And something that I just noticed is, it started north on August 9th, September 18th, and moved a little bit farther to the south. You think the next one may move a little farther to the south?
Okay, so because the 18th, that's the one that brought all that really heavy rain to Pierre, Fort Pierre, right?
Slow moving.
Yep. Okay, gotcha. So that's where we're at on that next 45 days.
Okay.
So now do you have any maps for the...
This is what I found this morning.
Okay.
Okay, this is looking at the 500 millibar pattern. Same thing we were looking at with those maps from the prior slide. There's your closed low, northwestern Iowa. That's a little farther south than those previous two. Interesting how that worked out, if this holds true. But the model's thinking that, something may run through, and it goes in line with our 90-day fog theory.
Okay.
Goes in line with the cycle of 40 to 45 days.
And one other thing that's really interesting there, I'm glad you brought this back up. So what do we know about the jet stream, too? When we go from August to September and then go into October, late October, early November, the polar jet stream is beginning to shift to the south because the colder air naturally begins to build. That directly links to your mid and upper level flow of your winds. You look for the biggest contrast in surface temperatures, and that's actually the driver for that. So what you've got here is a progression, and can the model detect that? Well, the first thing the model is going to get or has to get right is it has to look at the upper air pattern first. And so if the structure of highs and lows, if we start getting that down, and it's not that far away, 29th, so it's a little less than 2 weeks away.
2 weeks away.
Or about that. Yeah, so interesting observation. I like that.
Okay, so that's one thing. I think I have another one in here, too. Oh, this one brings you in. Watch the second cold front.
Yes.
So you would think if this, comes to be, we'll have a front with it, too, that will eventually cool us off. Coming in with this low pressure system, it will eventually cool us off.
Yep.
Remember those strong cold fronts that moved through during during the beginning of September and October?
Yes,
they had a lot of wind with them.
Yep.
See the wind gust here in Sioux Falls, 50 in September, 46 in October. A couple of days later, we had our temperatures fall to the mid-30s, which was a big deal for us at the time because we've been having all this warm air.
Correct. Yeah. It was a big change. I do remember. Yep. Both of those.
So we'll see what happens if that lines up with the date being, the 28th, 29th. Sometimes I say delay things. This will bring in an initial front, and then we'll see what happens with the trailing cold front behind it. If it brings in a stronger push of some colder air.
Yeah. Well, it would make sense to do that. So, and November can just bring all sorts of possibilities.
Wild weather.
Of course, this time of year, too, mid-October, some years you and I have worked together a long time. We've seen mid-October weather, too, that can turn wet and stormy. But the 7-day right now is pretty tame, some seasonable temperatures.
Nice. Yes. Temperatures near 60 degrees.
Right.
We do have warmer temperatures coming tomorrow, but it doesn't last.
Well, right. And then that's where, again, we go back to, we're going to get those warm-ups, but they're not as long. They're not as warm. So if you like those days in the 70s, you're going to have to be a little more choosy. They're going to come and go, but
and I just
fewer.
Thought of something, too. We don't want it to be too warm for the pheasant opener.
No, and that's a good point because this morning we brought up the pheasant opener forecast, and we did talk about showers coming in line. In fact, as we speak, Scott,
I don't need to put you on the spot on
the
this
one nice thing about doing this show here, see, people don't always realize this, but we actually bring our tools with us to this studio. If I'm fast enough, Scott, let's see if I can do this. I know I had it loaded. I know I've got it in here somewhere. In fact, if you just go to the full graphic, this is the one I was starting with earlier. This is actually the upper air pattern kind of going into the weekend forecast. And so the one thing about this is we've got that big anchor of high pressure there to the south. And that's been tough to move, hasn't it? It's been just sitting here for quite a long time. And ultimately here in the forecast, it is forecast to eventually start to break down. But I do have it. I'm seeing it right here. Hold on just a second. Let me bring it up. This is the upper air pattern, too. This is that 500 millibar map that you like to reference here from time to time, Scott. And it looks like as the pattern breaks down into the weekend, we will bring in, here we go, Saturday, right there, this shower chance. This is actually behind that big low that was out in California. And as the pattern breaks down, it's going to bring in a piece of energy probably for the western 2/3 of South Dakota. And that's where we get showers possible. But the temperature forecast Yeah, it's cooler, but it's still in the upper 50s, low 60s for the pheasant opener.
Yeah, and I think that's nice. People have all their gear. Of course, you want to keep in mind the dogs and their health because we've had some problems with that when it's been too warm.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, years where it's just way, way, way too hot. So 60s to 70s, not even 70s. We're talking 60s, Sioux Falls. And really for the pheasant opener, like right around Winter and Gregory and that South Central, yeah, it's looking pretty good temperature-wise. The thing I would watch is the wind and if the rain comes in, those showers and how fast that kind of pivots through during the day. So keep an eye on the timing. Timing is still up for some debate here, so we'll keep locking in on that.
We'll bring this up again tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do that because I think
let's just say
good
it right
attention to it for the next couple days.
Our snow trend, and we'll end it here too. Since September, we've been following our snow trend, the snow depth. That looks a little better there into Montana, northwestern Wyoming, starting to see a little bit more snow hanging around. That's the snow depth. Nothing going on for us. What about the next 2 weeks? I think I have this going out for 2 weeks. As may bring in something for the hills from time to time. You probably may have noticed that on the graphic that Brian just showed. It tries to bring in at least some snow showers for the higher elevations of the hills. But for the next 2 weeks, it's not picking up on much of anything. So I want to bring up this graphic just to explain what I've been doing here. Now, this is a model that goes out 45 days. And what I'm doing is I'm picking up on any measurable snow. And it goes through 100 members of the model here, highlighting that there on the left. And then, of course, more or less a bar graph, and this is your average of all those models. So what I do is I go down the dates, and now I'm going from October 30th, November 10th, and November 20th. So I just find the date, and I go up, and I count those members of this model, suggesting that we can have measurable snow by then. So as we go back to this graphic, going to October 30th now, it's 11 out of the 100. When we get to November 20th, it's 70 out of 100, suggesting that, yes, we will have measurable snow by then, and we should. And that's just the running average that I've been putting together, too, right below those numbers. But it's interesting to see Rapid City by the last of the month or getting close to the last of the month, up to 80% chance for measurable snow. Then it jumps to 94 in November by November 10th. And by the 20th, all but one model saying, okay, we'll have measurable snow by then.
Almost a statistical guarantee. Almost.
And you would think that too. And we talked about this before. I'm one that looks forward to the first snow of the season. Will it happen in October? We'll see. Right now, I would say no. We've just been too warm.
Yeah, I think you're right too. I think it's just simply a lot of warmth and not enough blocking in the Arctic and the polar regions. We'd have to get a major push of polar air. But turn the calendar over to November, and we'll have some more things to talk about. November, as we always say, it's an all or nothing. But it's
I'll have to look more into that and kind of put a graphic together and explain what I mean by it's an all or nothing month.
Yeah.
Look at the averages, look at the extremes that we get, maybe what are the percentages that we can get, above 8 inches of snow, percentages of seeing, below 3 inches of snow or 2 inches of snow, whatever I want that threshold to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting discussion because I always, too, consider November to be the month that it's the month that if you go through and it's really nice and fall continues and it's in the 50s or 40s.
And you're throwing the football on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, then people are like, okay, well, we had a month less of winter. It just shrinks the perception of winter a bunch because there are a lot of years I remember even, not so long ago, but we've had, we start early November with snow and then that's winter. It starts out.
There was a time when you and I would talk about December 5th or around that first weekend of December when we would get couple inches of snow and it would stick around.
Yes, years where when you would start things, it would, that was it, and then you were rolling for a long time after that. But we've had it on easy street some of these winters. I know a couple years ago we had, we've had some rough patches too. But last winter was,
I think we had only
crazy.
16 last winter. Ended up in the top 10 for least amount of snow. The year prior to that, I want to say it was 23 for the year. And then you go back another year, and we had 66.
Yes, that's the one.
People probably
that
still
was a
remember.
doozy. Yeah, and anybody like me who lives in the country, we actually that winter, though, we actually had a lot less snow. I remember Canton getting around our place was pretty good, really, considering how much snow there was.
Yeah.
But I remember friends of ours around Garrettson and hearing the stories of the gravel roads and when it started melting and they couldn't get out of there.
All the ruts that they had, right?
Well, just the embankment of snow. I mean, just in Minnehaha versus Lincoln County that winter, big difference. So winters always, there's so many variables and inputs that go in, but stories that we hear about and things. But yeah, we'll. I'm sure we'll get a day here, Scott. We'll get your snow forecast going.
Yes. Doppler special, October 27th.
Coming up fast, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I better do my stuff.
Got some homework to do.
More, yeah, I do. Well, that's our time. Thank you for watching. Whether or not, you have yourself a great day.